Welcome to 2 out of 3 Recommend. I'm Lee.
And I'm Brett,
We're two brothers out of three getting together to chat.
and recommend drinks, movies, shows, and things to keep you busy.
Welcome to another episode of the Two Brothers podcast. We are two brothers talking about stuff. 2 out of 3 brothers, in fact.
Yeah.
Talking about stuff. Happy birthday to me. That was yesterday.
Yeah.
When this episode's
I
released. Hello, Brett,
definitely
by the way.
remembered that. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good. Sorry. It focused on my birthday, all right? It's an important occasion on the calendar when you turn almost 40.
Yeah.
Not actually 40 yet,
No.
but almost 40. There's a movie in that, I reckon. Almost 40.
Almost 40. It stars Mark Ruffalo and
He's past 40.
it stars
Yeah.
Jesus.
You know what is a funny movie? This is 40.
Okay, I haven't watched it. I've seen the snippets of outtakes. Is that Melissa McCarthy?
That's Melissa
one?
McCarthy in the principal's office.
Yeah.
With Leslie Mann and Paul Rudd. It is a very funny movie. Arguably, the outtakes of Melissa McCarthy in that scene are better than most of the movie,
Yeah.
but that's fine.
I watched a movie with Melissa McCarthy in it recently, so I might get to that.
Just get to it now.
Okay, so let me have a sip.
Oh, we've just opened a drink. I didn't buy a particular drink this week, so Brett's on the Red Cruisers and I'm on the Summersby Apple.
Ooh, sugar. I went onto Netflix the other night and was like, I should watch something new instead of just watching Schitt's Creek. So I flicked on a movie.
Can I say something about Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
It has a new section. It says,
Oh, really?
Your Next Watch.
Oh.
So I went, because that's a recommendation thing from Netflix, obviously. And so I went onto that on TV shows because I was looking for a new sitcom. The third thing on Your Next Watch
Was something you've already watched?
was The Good Place.
Jesus.
So even Netflix is like, yeah, just watch it again,
Yeah.
which I might do.
So the movie I watched was Unfrosted,
Oh, a Seinfeld production.
a Seinfeld production where Jerry Seinfeld plays Jerry Seinfeld.
Okay.
Because, look,
And Melissa McCarthy has a bob
yeah,
or a bowl cut.
Jerry Seinfeld can't act.
He's not an actor. He's also said that if you watch the early seasons of Seinfeld, it's not about till season 4 that he's ever 1 second away from bursting out laughing on his own set, laughing at his own jokes that he wrote with Larry.
Yeah. So basically it's this story about how they came up with Pop-Tarts.
Okay.
I don't believe any of it.
No.
So yeah, Jerry Seinfeld stars as like the guy at Kellogg's that's not in charge. He's like the new idea guy.
Oh, not the magazine New Idea.
No.
The thinker. He's the
He's
thinker.
like new product development
Okay.
kind of guy.
Mm.
And he's always been wanting to try and work on getting something that's like pastry and fruit sauce thing, but he's never been able to work it out. And then there's a town where Kellogg's have their factory and Post have their factory. And Post is the other like
Yep.
thing in the
Yep.
US.
It's like Kellogg's versus Sanitarium here.
Sanitarium, sure.
Yeah.
If we'll go that way. And Amy Schumer is the head of that.
Okay.
Um,
Enough said.
And yeah, I tell you what, enough said is when Amy Schumer's one of the best actors in it, you've got a problem.
Oh.
She was actually pretty good.
Because there's actually some actors like Melissa McCarthy,
So-
Hugh Grant.
Huge cast.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld, Melissa McCarthy, Amy Schumer. Schmidt? Is he Schmidt? Max,
Oh,
what's his
yes.
face?
Yeah, Schmidt
Always
from The
plays
New Girl.
gay, but isn't gay.
Yeah.
Um,
He plays metrosexual, even though that's not been a thing for 15 years.
yeah. And Hugh Grant. And then there's other little like cameos all over the place.
Yeah.
Look, I laughed maybe twice.
Oh.
It's not funny. I think it was I can see what they were trying to do, But
That makes it worse
then
somehow.
they just had random bits that I'm like, why do we need that section in there? And I get there's like some sort of reference to an American cereal, like Count Chocula, but I don't. What does that have to do with anything? And they were just very just like, oh, we should do that. That'll never work. You know that thing I think you hate.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like, why don't we try?
Putting chocolate in pastry.
Yeah, or like at the end, it's like, well, why don't we try frost them? It's like, oh no, terrible idea. I was like,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's a lot of that.
Yeah. Is it so? Recently, obviously, everybody knew Jerry Seinfeld had a new project coming when he popped up on a lot of media,
Yeah.
saying that comedy is too PC nowadays
Mm-hmm.
and it's not funny.
Okay.
Is this movie un-PC?
No.
Oh.
It's not diverse in any way.
Is he trying to say, I couldn't write what I wanted to write because I had to be PC?
Maybe.
And maybe that's his little backup plan for, if you don't laugh at this, it's because comedy's fucked these days, not
Look,
because I wrote a bad movie.
I think Jerry Seinfeld's humour has not changed in 30 years. Right?
And does it not work in 2 hours, but does work in 22 minutes?
Well, I don't know if the humour works anymore.
Okay.
If you think of Seinfeld,
Jerry's
show.
saying that is people's fault, not his fault.
yeah, if you think the show Seinfeld, right,
Yeah.
you're not like, oh, I loved the skit he did at the end of that episode. No, it's like Elaine and George were great in that. Oh, and there's Kramer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know we are going to see him next month, though.
Yep.
Live, as
Yep.
a stand-up.
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't buy it for myself. Look, there's some weird characters, and then there's this thing with the there's a thing with someone dies, and then they have this serial send-off funeral,
Oh.
and it's like Snap, Crackle, and Pop are there. They're characters in it,
All right.
and it's also like who could play this, and then they just looked at like who has been on Saturday Night Live for the last 10 years, and like you'll do. It's very SNL heavy.
Yeah, okay.
But no, none of the good ones. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like Kate McKinnon and Maya Rudolph aren't there.
Well,
Melissa
obviously.
McCarthy's there.
Maya
It's,
Rudolph
you
is
know.
too diverse for Jerry Seinfeld to have cast her.
So it had its moments, but overall it was just all pretty meh. And then they had these cameos of like Walter Cronkite doing a news story, and I'm like, the impression was terrible. And then they had a bit with JFK, and the impression was terrible. Like, what's that guy's name? Fuck, I didn't write it down. Bill Burr? He's a guy.
He is a guy. Yeah, yeah.
He was JFK, right?
Oh.
But he wasn't good. And I felt like going like, wouldn't you just get someone that can do a JFK impression?
Yeah, it
'Cause
feels
they'd be
like they were
plenty out
like,
there.
I want to get Bill Burr in.
Yeah, I need a name.
I need to put Bill Burr in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Bill Burr fan.
Yeah.
He's very much like, oh, fuck that everything's changing these days.
Oh, well, maybe,
He's very much one of those
maybe
guys.
that's how we cast it. And then there was this joke about, the insurrection in the US.
Mm.
They just kind of did a gag based off that. And I'm like, I don't think that's funny.
Well, it's also not time relevant.
Yeah, it happened 3 years ago.
Yeah, and not at the time that Walter Cronkite or JFK would be on your TV.
Yeah, like they did a whole like the cereal mascots aren't happy,
Mm.
and they stormed the Kellogg's building.
Oh.
So they basically just made it that. Like he had horns on, like that guy, and then someone took a shit. Like,
Is that a shit?
is that a shit? There's a shit on my floor. And then the word, okay.
I should have a panel with programmed buttons.
Yeah, you should.
And is that a shit?
Is that a
Is
shit?
one of them instead of...
Family Guy. You just have to go like Family Guy reference. and have it a giggity or a like.
Could I also get like a? I should get like a voice modulator for Stewie.
Well, I didn't need that. Okay, maybe I do. The other ones that was like look.
So Frosted, would you recommend?
Maybe. If you go home on a Friday night, you've had a long week at work, and then you're like, I just want to put something on that's not that great, and I don't have to concentrate at. It's just going to be all right.
Okay.
I'd like watch it.
I heard a thing the other day. There's a podcast that has popped up on my TikTok occasionally. I don't know the name of the podcast or who is on it, but they are industry people, entertainment industry people. And they had a bit of a talk recently about executives saying to showrunners or producers, this is not second screen enough.
Yeah, okay.
So now they are making content that you can have on while you're on your phone.
Yeah.
Or if you're Netflix and chilling, it can be the other thing that is happening in the room. So is it a second screen?
Maybe it is.
A second screen production.
So maybe I just didn't enjoy it because I paid too much attention to
You were
it.
actually watching and
I was
listening.
watching. I didn't realise I should have been playing Candy Crush at the same time.
Well, that's the difference.
Yeah, so, yeah, it was alright.
Okay. I have
Christian
watched...
Slater was in it as well. You know, Christian Slater from Austin Powers.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm going to say for him now.
Can I say Jerry Seinfeld from B-Movie?
Yes, you can. Well, actually, you know what? Name 5 things Jerry Seinfeld's done.
Seinfeld.
Yep.
Comedians in Car Getting Coffee.
Sure.
B-Movie.
Mm-hmm.
Unfrosted.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the final episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Right.
Full stop.
Done.
That's all I've got.
And he's rich.
Was he not in another show?
I don't think he was, unless he tried to do something and it failed.
It doesn't look like it. It looks like there was a thing Jerry before Seinfeld.
You know what would have been better if he just wrote the movie, directed the movie, and had somebody else do it? But I don't think he's that kind of guy.
No, he's not. How much do you reckon he's worth?
$3 billion.
$1 billion.
Close, but not close. I was in the right billions.
Yeah. You were closer to that than you were to guessing
Beyonce
and Jay-Z's net worth. I've watched a show.
Yeah. Did you read a book as well? Or is that there for a reason? Or
I did read a book. Should I talk about the book or should I talk about the screen thing that I've watched?
Let's talk about the book.
Okay, all right. So this is a book that I finished recently.
Great.
It is called Gus and the Missing Boy.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
I feel like we've seen something with a similar cover.
We haven't talked about this already, have we?
No, as in like the cover was very similar. You know what I mean? Like
Quite possibly.
just the same style of a face and words. No.
Anyway, whatever. This is Gus and the Missing Boy. It is a YA mystery.
Yeah.
So we are not the target audience for it.
I'm
But,
2A.
yeah.
Not so much Y
No,
anymore.
not enough Y. Particularly my birthday was yesterday. I'm 1 year further away from Y.
God, you're like SA.
But it is written by Melbourne author Troy Hunter. And I've read it because I want to write some YA. And because it came well recommended. So it is a mystery of a boy in a town. He's 15. He is obsessed with mysteries. Him and his friend listen to true crime podcasts. He loves a whodunit type story.
Right.
And so he goes onto this website of missing kids where they take the photos and they age up the kids. And he finds a photo that looks exactly like him.
Oh, okay.
And so he's like, am I this boy?
Am I Gus?
Yeah. Well, no, he is Gus. He's the other boy.
Oh,
So
he's
his name
Gus.
now is Gus.
Am I John? God, Brett. Testing out the imagination there.
So, yeah, he finds out that he could be this other boy, and that leads him down this path of mystery and discovery. And then it becomes a whodunit because the boy that is missing was kidnapped. So that's where the whodunit comes in.
Okay.
So it's a great story in that it's a very well constructed mystery.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't guess it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, which is very good. And it kept me page turning.
Would you describe it as meta AF?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
But somebody has, as you've read that off the back of the book. I didn't guess who done it, but he also has done quite well, Troy Hunter, the author, in weaving in a lot of what it's like to be a teenager at the moment.
Okay.
So there's some
Identity
things, there's mental health things, there's gender and sexuality things, as well as friendship and family stuff.
Right.
But that's not too heavy that it ever gets too far away from being a mystery novel.
Cool.
So if
Interesting. Like it's a new concept.
if you have a YA in your life, or you are a YA, and listening to this book,
That's young adult for anybody.
yeah.
Like if you had to ask yourself what that meant, I'm sorry, you're not a YA.
You're not a YA, nor do you have a YA.
You're probably an SS, senior citizen.
SC.
Shit. I knew I fucked it up. Oh.
So if you are a YA or you have a YA in your life, then I do recommend Gus and the Missing Boy by Troy Hunter, which I'll get a link to Troy's website and Wakefield Press, the publisher's website, in the episode description.
Did we talk recently about a book series, something Fourth Wing?
Yes.
I saw a TikTok the other day of the new Melbourne netball team, the Melbourne Mavericks.
Yep.
And they were all on this flight to their game. And it's like, hi Kim, what are you reading? She's like, Fourth Wing. And half of them were reading the same book.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the target audience. Got it.
Oh, 100% that's the target audience. Rebecca Yaros, it's interesting. She is huge now because of this series. Started with the Fourth Wing, and then Iron Flame is the second book, and there's 2 more books coming this year and next year, I think.
Yeah.
There was an event recently in Denver, and because she was there, heaps more people than they expected, like twice as many people as came the year before.
Oh, wow.
Went to this readers event. So, yeah, she is huge, and she is the name in this genre, which you will love the name of romantasy.
I thought that was fantaction. Fantasy action.
Maybe I'll write a fantaction.
Yeah.
Most fantasy has some action in it.
True.
Or maybe I can take fantasy world and then put the action tropes in there.
Yeah.
What about like a buddy cop fantasy? That'd be fantaction.
Yeah. Isn't that just like Star Trek?
That's sci-fi.
Sci-fi is different from fantasy.
Yeah. They're
Okay,
both...
yeah, because fantasy is like Lord of the Rings, because it's in the past.
Yeah.
It's not science. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I described it to myself.
They're both...
I thought it was like I have some sort of nerd subgenre fucking... There's probably some dork playing fucking Dungeons and Dragons right now yelling at me.
They're both speculative fiction, is the umbrella that includes sci-fi and fantasy.
Anyway.
Sci-fi is when things change because of science. Fantasy is when things change because of magic.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Fantasy is when things haven't changed for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Sci-fi is things have just changed now because of science.
Right.
All right, but they're both under speculative fiction.
Speaking of science, right.
Yeah, okay.
So, I have an I don't know if this is an etiquette or just a social thing.
Yep.
You know what shits me? And I've decided when I was walking, I was out doing a morning walk. It was like 5:45 in the morning. Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Can you adjust your sensor lights in your house, please?
Oh, yeah, you should be able to walk past a house without
Yeah.
getting spotlighted.
On the opposite side of the street,
Oh, man.
walking, and I'm like, oh no, that was me. Ridiculous. Like, why?
No.
I get if they're meant to scare people, I guess.
It probably also sets off their Ring camera.
Yeah.
So it's probably been like light on,
Beep, 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 beep.
records for 45 seconds of this just bloke walking across the other side of
me
the road.
just going like, leave me alone. Me just like mouthing Beyonce lyrics.
Mouthing. Sometimes I sing. I'm going to get back
I
into
don't, because
walking.
when I do that, that's when somebody else is. Somebody's like, hey, I'm like, oh God, sorry, didn't see you. You decided to wear all black while walking through fucking Footscray at 4:00 in the morning.
Oh,
6
that's
o'clock in the morning.
stupid.
Yeah, so that was my just like thing of the week. Is just like people deal with your sensor lights because
Yeah,
like,
you don't need to be that
ask
strong.
yourself the question: why do you have them? And then do you have them so you can see the opposite side of the street in the middle of the night? Fine. Do you have them so when somebody comes into your driveway, it goes on and you can see, or they oh my God, sensor lights! I can't rob this place.
That's valid. That second one is valid.
Yeah. So
No one
adjust.
should need to see the opposite side of the street. That's not your side.
Yeah.
That's the odd number, if you're an even number house, side of the street.
Yeah. Exactly.
None of your business.
Yeah.
The only time you need to see the opposite side of the street is when you forget your brother's address and have to walk across to get the Uber Eats order that you sent to the wrong house.
Yeah. The house that drugs built. Yeah.
Not a true story. Definitely a true
Oh,
story.
about the drugs or the pizza?
Oh, no, that was Macca's. I sent to the wrong
Macca's.
address.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, it's been delivered. And you were like, oh, did you get the right address? I'm like, no, I haven't, actually,
Yeah.
after 2 years of you living there.
Mm-hmm.
Etiquette's done. Do you have a nostalgia?
No.
Other than that Red Cruiser?
Red Cruiser, man, nostalgia. But
Did you have big nostalgia last week when we
I
went to
had-
see Into the Woods?
huge nostalgia league. 'Cause you know how I said to you at halftime,
Yeah.
interval for those in the theatre, there was something.
I'm going to start calling halftime at the footy interval,
Okay,
just to flip it.
but then there's 3 of them. So is a quarter interval,
Quarter interval and 3/4 interval.
first interval,
Act 4.
Act 4. Richmond
I'm
didn't
just-
show up until Act 4.
I'm just-
Yep, that works.
I'm just going to go and get a bucket of chips before Act 4.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm going to do it.
Yep.
The fuckwits that sit behind me at the footy will love that. So I did, because I said to you, I'm like, there are so many lines where people said, and I just had instant nostalgia for the way that whoever did that in our school production said it. The guy in the production we saw was like, what was that noise? And the guy who said that was like, what was that noise? Like, I was like, oh, chuckle.
It's a great show, Into the
Very
Woods. If you missed seeing it at Williamstown Theatre, then it is coming up later this year with a company in Geelong.
Oh, I could Geelong.
So, yeah, it'll be around. But as we did last week, highly recommend going to a local theatre.
They're quite good.
They
The
are quite good.
staging and the lights and everything for this one was really good.
Yeah.
Because it's a big thing, the woods are huge, right?
Yes.
The trees are just woods. The woods are just trees.
But the point of it is that the woods are huge.
Yeah, and it was a small stage, so they did well to kind of differentiate the different spots, and they had that thing in the middle, like turntable situation, that was really good.
Yeah.
They used that quite well.
They did. They did quite well at setting it all and keeping some mystery. It's a different theatre. It's not you sit and then the stage is up. It's down and then there's the stage, which meant quite a few people, as they entered the theatre, just kind of almost walked across the stage.
Well, I did, because
You wanted to be part of the
just
show.
was like, once upon a time.
Yeah.
Let's go. I know.
Ding, ding,
I know
ding.
that bit. I don't know all the other stuff in between. I just know the first bit.
Once Upon a Time and I Wish at the end.
Yeah. And I know the song that that the narrator sings at the end of the first act.
You were right though. The second quarter, not the second act,
Yeah.
second half is significantly better story-wise than the first.
It's just where everything, all the pieces join up and everything comes to its end.
The first act is good and interesting and funny in that they've taken all of these fairy tale stories and mushed them in and interwoven them.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of points where I was like, oh, well, they've just done that to try and get that, which is obvious, which is what the point of the first act is. But the second act the characters kind of had their own story. It got a little bit meta.
It does get meta.
And then...
Very meta. Meta AF, some might
Meta
say.
AF. And then those stories all work out and it's different endings that are also still happy.
It's a different happy. It's just because you had this one ending and it didn't work out doesn't mean you can't be happy at the end.
You can find some other happiness.
Yeah. That involves murder. It's fine.
Yeah, or an ex-princess.
Yeah.
And not happy by cutting your toes off.
There are some very good lines in the show as well that are quite deep. He writes a good song, that Sondheim guy.
Yeah, he does a pretty good job.
He should consider doing it more often.
Yeah, he should have done it. He's done a few.
Yeah.
But maybe he's got a shot at it.
Maybe. Yeah, I reckon he could make something of himself.
Yeah, good on you. You go, Stephen.
Yeah. Can't wait till somebody does a biopic of him. Wait.
I don't think we've had one.
No.
Biopic. It's the time for it.
It's the time of the biopic. If Allen White can do a Bruce Springsteen biopic, if Timothy Chalamet can play Bob Dylan, do a Stephen Sondheim one.
There was a TV movie in 2013 called Six by Sondheim, an intimate and candid look at the life and art of the legendary composer-lyricist. But it's a documentary, I think.
Ah, right.
Yes.
It is quite a tricky show.
There's characters, like people like Barbara Barry. There's a lot of that in archive footage. Barbara Barry archive footage. Charles Braswell, Glenn Close archive footage, John Cunningham, Judi Dench self archive footage. But then, like, Darren Criss plays Frank. America Ferrara plays Mary.
Okay.
Looking at the top cast, no one plays Sondheim.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the top cast. So, anyway.
Cool. But yeah, good show.
Good show.
Not a good show.
Go to see the local theatre.
Support amateurs.
Support the arts, people. Otherwise, we're going to lose it.
Yeah. And then you will just see Wicked all the time.
Or you will just see second screen crap.
Like Unfrosted.
Have I talked about Apple TV? I watched something on Apple TV. No, Loot is good.
Yeah, I watched that the other night too.
There's a movie that I watched recently on Apple TV. Maybe I'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
Because that is second screen crap. But I'll talk about that next week.
Okay, great.
All right. Thanks for listening to another episode of 2 out of 3 Brothers. What are we watching this week for the 2 Drink Cinema? It is going to be Bedazzled.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
We are watching Bedazzled for 2 Drink Cinema and reviewing that this week. So make sure you watch that. Classic.
I will watch that, Lee. I'm pretty sure I have to.
Classic.
So I will watch it.
Brendan Fraser and...
Hola, Esteban. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? No. Anyway.
Great. All right. Watch Bedazzled if you're following the 2 Drink Cinema stream. Otherwise, don't.
I mean, you can still watch it.
You can watch
It's a good
it.
laugh.
Yeah, it is.
It's better than Unfrosted by Jerry Seinfeld.
Thanks for listening to 2 out of 3 Brothers. We'll be back next week. Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Lee.
Thanks for listening to 2 out of 3 Recommend. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which this podcast was produced and pay our respects to elders past and present.
If you'd like to support the podcast and become a member, gaining early access to episodes and an exclusive episode each month, sign up as a member using the link in the show notes.
If there's something you'd like to recommend to us, get in touch on the socials or in our Facebook group.
Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on your podcast app or on YouTube. Leave us a rating and review and tell your friends.